Hello, namaste. Thank you for tuning into Quantum Investing channel. This is your host, Sarat Chalamcherla. Today, we're going to talk to a guest. Before I introduce him, I would ask you to like my video, share, and also subscribe to my channel. This is really important for this YouTube algorithm to move my videos up. The guest we're going to talk to is he was into Olympics in judo and he won international gold and silver medals. He is a teacher. He did many wholesaling and also flipping too. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Scott Garcia. Hello, Scott. How are you doing?
Great. How you doing?
Good, good. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Yeah, definitely. My pleasure.
Great. Okay, let's start with how did you start getting into real estate investing?
Well, 20 years ago when I was in college, I worked at the Polynesian Cultural Center, and it's the #1 tourist attraction in Hawaii. And I was doing some modeling, and the guests would come in, and we model with the guests and take pictures. And one of the girl models said that she had read this book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, and she let me borrow it. And she said that her dad made more in real estate than he did as an engineer. And so they would play this game, cash flow. It was either go to bed or play the game, cash flow. And so she let me borrow the book, and I was like getting ready to graduate from college. So I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for the rest of my life. And I was like, I want to do real estate. This is awesome. And I let the ideas rattle around my brain, but I didn't have any money, just graduating from college. And then I ended up moving to Japan and teaching over there. And I came back and I bought my first property, just like the cash flow game. And so right away I bought it February 2006. I moved out to Arizona, and it was a 5-bedroom place. I immediately rented out the 4 bedrooms and developed that iron stomach that Kiyosaki talks about, like just being a landlord, all the challenges that come with it. And it's a lot. I mean, yeah, I was just over there yesterday, just getting a renter in. So, I mean, it's been a learning experience, but I've kind of learned to get that iron stomach but the market tanked in 2006. And so I watched, and I actually talked to Robert Kiyosaki. He lives out here, and I went to a seminar he did. And he told me directly, he's like, hey, Scott, don't buy a house right now. Cause I asked him, should I buy a house right now? It was like December 2005. He's like, don't buy a house right now. In 3 years, you could buy 3 houses for the same price. And he was right. I mean, houses in Mesa were going for like
the crash and everything happened as predicted, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nice. Like you met Robert Kiyosaki and
yeah,
Rich Dad Poor Dad, right? I'm sorry.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
That's the so popular one. Everybody in real estate, everyone reads that, right? So
yeah, definitely.
That's nice. That's nice. So what were you doing before? Are you doing this full time or what do you do?
No, I teach high school. I'm currently a high school teacher. So this was just my, my side hustle.
Nice.
And,
what do you teach?
Right now I teach, it's a credit recovery program. So kids who fail history, government, economics, they'll come to my class and take it on the computer. So when COVID hit, I mean, I was already online. But 30 kids will come to my classroom, take it on the computer. But when we made the switch, I mean, they're already doing it on the computer. So, I mean, it was a pretty easy transition for me.
Great. So what do you like the most in the real estate?
It's just like martial arts, because you just got to keep on like hammering away. You just keep showing up, and, sometimes you got to go roll with the punches. Sometimes you take a punch in the gut, or, you get slammed and you're like, okay, I'm coming back for more. But it's just like learning different styles of martial arts, so like, I started with judo, but now there's like, I studied Thai boxing, jiu-jitsu, right? And so in real estate, there's like notes, wholesale, buy and hold, flips, so many different creative ways. And in the past year, I mean, I did like 4 flips, I did wholesale, almost had a subject to deal. I mean, it's been quite a wild ride. I mean, and like I've just been like blessed this past year.
Great. So you did a lot of wholesaling too, you're saying, right?
Yes.
Great. So somebody wants to start into wholesaling. How did you start? How did you do your first one?
My first wholesale, I I was just trying to listen. I saw people online doing it. I saw like watch people on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then um, I was like, I have to learn this, how to do this. And my first wholesale deal, my wife, she was we just had our baby in August, and uh,
Congratulations.
oh thanks, yeah, she our third baby, right? And
Oh,
so
yeah, yeah.
the next month in September, while she's breastfeeding, she would get on her cell phone and just go through like the yard sale sites. And then she saw someone said, "Hey, anybody know, I want to sell my house quickly for cash." And she saw me like, listen, I always have like headphones in my ear, listening to different talks. And she's like, "Hey, stop listening to all that talks and get out there and do it." So
Is that the actual owner who posted it?
it was the owner's girlfriend that posted
Right.
it.
Okay, yeah, no, somebody related.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. So all these realtors apply, like message her, but my wife screenshot it, sent to me, and I Facebook messaged her, and I was like, "Hey, I heard you want to sell your house. Um, I could buy it cash." And so talked to her. She's like, "Okay, well, actually, it's my boyfriend's house," and it turns out like his wife had passed away 2 years ago, and they were making payments, HOA payments, and so and they didn't want the house anyway. They had a lot of bad memories in the house, so the kids weren't with him anymore, and it was just a sad situation for them. So they really didn't want the house. They were make the HOA payments, and they're like the payments are just too much, and so I ended up picking it up for like $126,000. It was a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, like a 2,200 square foot house, built in 2004. So, and then my friend, she flips houses, and so I brought her in. She bought it from me to flip it, and she's like, "Oh, this is a great house. This is one of my best because, it didn't need much work. I mean, they took really good care of it."
Great.
So yeah, I netted $13,000. Got a check for $13,002, and I felt like I won the lottery.
That's nice.
That was awesome. It was a good day.
That's great. That's great. How long did it take?
2 weeks. It started September 30th, and we closed October 14th.
Beautiful.
I didn't even know how to fill out the contract. I was like, I print out the contract, and I called my friend. I was like, "How do I fill this out on the drive there to Florence?" It was like an hour away. I was like, "How do I fill this thing out?" So
Yeah, that's how you learn, right? Like, you
yeah,
got to take an action too. It's not just how much you are listening to podcasts or going to trainings and all that. You need to take.
yeah,
That's what you did. That's wonderful. That's great.
yeah. My wife at least gave me that push, like, "Okay, stop listening. You gotta."
How did you negotiate the deal? Like, could you please share the numbers? How?
Yeah, so he was like, he saw on Zillow it was worth like 181,000. So he's like, "No, I want 180,000." And the wholesaling, you want to do like, like 70% or less. So then it leaves meat on the bone because you got to all these,
Yeah.
yeah, all the fees, and the flipper has to come in and do fix ups and all that stuff. So, and so I gave him, a number, and he's like, "Well, no, I can't do that low." So, see you later. And I was like so nervous my first phone call. I was like shaking because I'm like, "What do I?" It's my one, but you want to sound like you know what you're talking about. But if you're not experienced, like you go into a job and the first day of your job, you kind of worried that you don't know the job. But after 40 hours of doing it, then you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm more confident in this," right? So you do it, the easier it is. But she just, Facebook messaged me back. She's like, "Okay, can we get this much for it?" And so, because they wanted to buy some property at Maricopa, and so I was like, "Okay, yeah, here." So at closing, we gave them a check, and they were happy. We were happy. My flipper was happy. My flipper actually went out there with me, and then she fixed it up, and she sold it for like $186,000.
She
So,
made some money there, right?
yeah, so she made a profit.
That's good.
Everybody was happy. Everybody got money, and it was I was like, this can't be that easy. Wow. It was just a blessing from God, you know.
So how did you find other wholesale deals?
Just like, like Facebook, like being in groups, and
Facebook Marketplace
people,
and all that, or
yeah,
groups?
yeah, people post like, hey, I'm
Or
trying to get to this house, and I'm like, over here, you know.
great.
So
So recently you did a flip too, I guess, right?
yeah. So that one,
Talk about that, please.
yeah, that one was in the Facebook group of our mastermind group that we had,
Mhm.
and at first I saw the price and I was like, oh, 170,000 in Mesa. Oh, I don't know if I can afford that. And then I was like, oh, wait a second, I can afford that. Oh, and then my flipper friend, I'd been asking her for years to teach me how to flip. The one I had sold it to before.
Previous one. Yeah.
Yeah, and in my mind I was like, oh, I better talk to my friend Laurel. So I called her up and she's like, yeah, let's go look at it. So we hopped in our car. We went, met up, and then the family was still living in there. I guess they had lived in there for 6 years. They're renting it, not making payments, and then
Is that a distressed property kind? They're out of
well, the
closure.
owner, the landlord, had passed away and left it to his son. Like that property, and I think they had like a total of 5 properties and left to the son. So the lawyer was, doing all the talking, and so yeah, that took a couple weeks just to get him to sign and do all that. So because we wanted to jump on like get it fixed and flipped right away. So yeah, one time Angie, who like wholesaled it to me, was like, can you hop in your car and go like track this guy down? Here's the address. I was like, okay, I'm on my way. So I was driving there, and one of the other guys on their team like had tracked him down, got it signed. So we like closed right away once we got it signed, and then it only took us like a week to fix up, rehab the property. I mean,
Nice.
my friend has a crew. Her and her ex-boyfriend have done a lot of flips together, and so he runs a pretty tight crew. And I mean, they just have it down to science. They have all the materials ready, and then they put in new like cabinets in the kitchen, new appliances, new flooring, granite countertops, and everywhere. And retiled the showers, put new vanities in the bathrooms, and painted the outside, inside, cleared out all the junk. They had like garbage dumpsters that were like 40 feet long, and those cost about $500. And we had to do 2 of those because there was so much trash in that. And they even left their dog. So I had to go, like, it was a big pit bull in the backyard. They left it, and
They left the dog there.
yeah, so I had to give the pit bull some water. I only spent $12 on this whole deal. Like,
Wow.
$6 for the dog food, take the dog, and $6 to get some keys made. And Laurel, my flipper friend, she took care of the hard money loan. She took care of the rehab. The rehab cost us $30,000 for everything, and it was done in a week. So, and we just got an offer. So we put it on the market, and like she put it on the market at midnight. And that day on Saturday, we had like 18 people that realtors respond, and they went and saw the property, and there was like a bidding war.
Did it happen recently? When was it?
Yeah, last weekend, last Saturday. There was like a bidding war.
It's
Today's Thursday, right? So just a few days ago, last Saturday.
Great. What is the location? Where is this?
It's a Mesa.
Mesa. All right.
Yeah.
East Valley.
It's like a mile away from my rental property too, so
That's great.
I kind of know the area. And
So you're talking about subject to and all that, right? So
uh-huh.
so all the deals you have done, is it cash buy? Is it clean, or did you take any other strategy?
I had VAs calling for me from Panama and Venezuela, and they calling like a pre-foreclosure list for me. And there was this couple there going through divorce, and I went to the property, and their situation was they're going through divorce, and they had already moved into their apartments, and so they had this mortgage payment. They were the HOA was like, they had like a $2,000 fine through HOA. And then they had it was a brand new house. It was 2017. This is like December 2019, right? So it was a brand new house. And there was like they had some down payment assistance program. And so they had to live in the house for 3 years. Otherwise they had to pay $6,000.
Oh, okay.
So that much for that area. So it
Your
was,
numbers did not add up. Doesn't make
yeah, the number, plus we'd have to pay the $2,000 mortgage. And by the time we got the keys, they owed so much from not paying their mortgage. And so it ended up not like panning out that it wasn't going to be, worth the cost, and there wasn't much equity in the house. So
What are the red flags you
oh,
look?
red flags. When you're looking at a deal, like, are you talking about to flip it or?
Yeah, both wholesale or flip it. Like, as a property when you want to buy it. So what are the red flags you look for? Anything specific you look for?
Well, you when you go through a property, you're looking at it. The big items are the air conditioning, right? Because if air conditioning goes out in Arizona, I mean, you're in trouble. And they're expensive to fix, or even put a new one in. Roofs are expensive. I just went up to Holbrook like 2 weeks ago, and the whole roof. Well, they had two houses. It was like $40,000, right? And one house was like a 1911 house, and the whole roof was just caved in. And then the other house, the roof needed some work, but it was just too much of a headache with all the things that need to be fixed on it. So
How much it would cost for the roof usually to replace or repair? Usually it's a replace, I guess, right?
it depends on who you go through. I mean, you can get it done.
Do they charge by square foot something or?
Yeah, I mean, Home Depot is going to charge you a lot more. It will get done, but there's other guys that will do it for less. So
The current situation, right? Are you still buying? Like with the market and everything? I know the real estate market is really cool and like
the market's crazy right now. I mean, we just had a bidding war. We had 18 people because they're not, all the iBuyers moved out, like Open Door, right? And then they're not making a lot of inventory, and like it's crazy. Just that frenzy that happened Saturday. I'm like, whoa, it's like 2006, 2000, all over again. And people just, first COVID hit a couple months ago, and everybody's like, oh, what's going to happen with the market? And yeah, I mean, some people, lost money on it, but.
Yeah. So what do you like the most, wholesaling or fix and flip? You've done both, right? What do you think
Yeah,
is?
I like wholesaling better. Well, actually, this hybrid I did with my friend, I like it because.
You don't have to do anything much, right? So it's all.
Yeah, I mean, I found the deal. We wholesale it. We teamed up for the flip, but she ran the flip and the all the money, and then we're gonna split after she makes 23,000. We're gonna split it 50-50 of the profit. So, if once she makes 23,000, let's say we make an extra 30,000, we'll split that 30,000 50-50. So she gets 15,000, I get 15,000 plus my 3,000 wholesale fee on the front end.
Where do you do the finance? Do you do hard money or you put your own money?
Yeah. So for this one, I was actually surprised how easy it was to get hard money. I mean, my first phone call, I called up and because our first deal we were going to do was I would take care of the hard money, and then she would take care of the rehab costs, 30,000, and run the crew, and then we'd split it 50-50. But I'm a school teacher, so, we don't get paid during the summers. So I'm like, well, I could do this, but, if I have to put like a big down payment down, I mean, it's going to be kind of tough in August when, I could have done it, but, it's just looking for the future. She said, okay, I'll do all the money stuff. And then we just, texting back and forth, created a deal that was a win-win for both of us. And then I said, okay, let's get this in writing because it's always easy. It's kind of awkward in the beginning when you make a deal with someone. But I'm like, just so there's no like, oh, I assumed that you were going to do this, or I assumed you were going to do this, or I thought we were going to do this, or people's emotions change during the deal. So I'm like, let's get it in writing. We'll both sign it, date it.
Between the partners, you're saying?
Yeah, just between me and my partner.
All right. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I
So,
mean, I trust her. I've known her for a long time, and I've seen her become a real estate agent. I've seen her like do all these flips over the past 11 years, and so I've been asking for a long time, like, hey, can you teach me? And I learned a lot from the flip. We went and picked up materials at Home Depot. We picked up appliances. Went and picked out mirrors, and so she taught me like what to look for, how she likes to match the doorknobs, the brushed nickel with the mirror, outer lining, and
there's a lot of little things, right? Like, you
yeah,
have to take care of.
what kind of flooring she likes, the vinyl flooring, the color of the walls, the light gray, and then just like all the details, like they replace all the doors, the closet doors, all the outlet covers, the base boarding around the bottom of the floors, and yeah, I mean just all the little details of it, and I'd stop by and make videos to see.
So going back to the hard money, right? So
Yeah.
you have to put some down payment.
Yeah. So there's every hard money person has their own requirements, right? And they don't do like a credit check. If it's a good deal, if it's a house, like I said, hey, I have this house, I'm buying it for 170,000. The ARV, the after repair value is 249,000. You just run the numbers by them, and then they say, okay, like one hard money guy said, okay, I'll give you the whole 170,000, and I'll give you at 18% interest. So the way you calculate that, right? So 18% interest. I'll put in my calculator. So $170,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Times 18%. So 1/8 equals $30,600. Okay, so that's for the whole year. Now,
okay.
How many months are there in a year?
12 by 12.
Right. So divide by 12, and you get
A month you need to pay that.
$250 a month.
Do you have to pay any closing costs or anything?
Yeah, there's different people do different processing fees. So Laurel, she went with for her hard money loan. One guy was a lower interest rate.
The processing fee is more.
9%, but the processing fee was $1,500.
There you go.
And then she went with the other guy that was like, the interest rate was a little bit higher, but the fee was $500.
Got it.
Yeah.
So on this, do you have?
So that's per month, right? So if you have a flip that goes for 3 months, well, 2,550 times 3 equals $7,650. So, what Laurel did was she got a hard money loan, and she put down $40,000, and it was 11% interest. So, she put down 40,000, so now she has 130,000 times 11%.
The rest of the money. Okay.
And then divide by 12. So she's paying $1,191, right? So if we have it for 2 months, that's $2,383. So it's a little bit cheaper than the 18% because she had the money, right? So
that's cool.
It cuts into your profits, and so if you have the money, you can put some down. If you don't, you get a little bit higher interest rate. And then if you don't have a lot of experience flipping, then it could go a lot longer than 3 or maybe even 6 months, right?
Yep.
Even longer if things get held up. So
sure,
that's the name of the game, right?
Yep.
I'd rather partner with. I was happy to partner
with somebody with experienced person so that they know everything and
yeah. And plus, when you're doing a flip, like your whole mind goes towards the flip, and then you're like so busy with that sometimes that you're like trying to do wholesaling, but it's and plus I was teaching high school and I have 3 kids, so
it's not easy.
Trying to balance everything.
Great. So most of my viewers are like investors. They want to start, right?
Yeah.
So let's say they have $10,000. Where do you think they should start?
Oh man, I just got this app like 2 days ago. It was pretty awesome. Go Knock app. I was driving around today using it.
What is the app you said?
Go Knock.
Go Knock. Is
Yeah,
it
and
for
so you
wholesalers?
just yeah, it's for wholesalers. It just came out, right? And so
Okay.
you could just type in like give me an area code, a zip code.
85225.
You type in the zip code you want, and all the foreclosures will come up in that area. You can go knock on them, and then it has like skip tracing. So like today, I got to this fourplex, and I was like, okay, there's no apartment number on it. Okay, this must be the owner that's in foreclosure on all four of the fourplex, and so I just push skip trace. I skip trace. I got the owner's like address and phone number.
Oh, it is part of the app? It
Yeah,
has
it's part of that. And
Great.
I called the owner, right? And I was like, hey, I'm right in front of your fourplex, and just try to build a relationship of trust. And I was like, hey, are you interested in selling your fourplex? Just and she's like, oh no, thanks, I'm not interested. We're not selling right now. Okay, thanks. But yeah, all from the app.
Nice. Is it how much you're paying per month?
$50.
$50. That's cool.
Yeah.
Great. Great.
Yeah. So I mean, just to have that, you can go to any city, any town, and like look up on this like their foreclosures, and it
So,
outs it for you, like where you're going.
so if you have 10,000, start with wholesaling, you say?
Oh yeah, definitely get that bag of money first, and then you can
Great.
go into flips and do that, because I mean flips can suck up your money if you're not careful. You can over budget, go over budget so easily in a flip.
Great. Great. Thank you so much, Scott.
Hmm.
I have
Yeah,
few rapid questions I will ask.
yeah,
So
sure.
uh, answer like in one word, one sentence, or whatever you like. Okay.
Okay.
So best habit you're proud of.
Oh, best habit I'm proud of, like I guess just showing up. Uh, Starting from a young age in judo when I was 3, my dad, started to take me to practice, and even when I didn't want to go, I showed up. And then there's been guys with more talent, stronger than me, better technique, but I just stuck with it longer and just kept showing up and started, winning nationals and
Internationals. Yeah.
winning world championships. And so,
Great,
yeah.
great, great. Do you still practice judo or?
My daughter was born 5 years ago, and I won my last national championships, and then I just retired after that. I didn't want to miss, because I was training. Like when you train, it's a lot. I mean, before a tournament, before a world championship, I trained 3 to 8 hours a day, on top of teaching full time and doing all that. So
Great.
it's a
So
lot of time when you train.
great, great. So best app or tool you use on daily basis for real estate?
The best app that I use,
App or tool?
yeah, I mean, I like this Go Knock app. I mean, I
Oh,
just using it like 2 days ago, but it's been pretty awesome. I like Zillow and Redfin too. I mean, just the comp properties. I don't know, PropStream is pretty awesome, because then you can pull all whatever list.
yeah, I heard about that prop stream thing.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's $97 a month. You can like so let's say you pick a area like Phoenix, right? You put in Phoenix, and you want houses under $250,000 with 50% or more equity, with the owner living in it 7 years or more. And you just like type all that information in, filter, and then it shows it up on a map, all the people that are in foreclosure or have a tax lien, whatever list you want to pull. It has cash buyers on there. It has you can run comps. So if you have a property and you're like, oh, I wonder what the comps are, there's a button where you can run all the comps on it, and you can be like I don't have to call my realtor anymore and bother her like, hey, what are the comps on this house? Like, I could just run it like real quick. So it's
Great.
awesome. And then like when people are trying to sell me properties and they're like lying to me, right? Like, oh, it's worth 310,000,
All the wholesalers who contact you.
yeah. Oh, it's worth 310,000 fixed up. The comps are 310, and then we'll get you a good deal at, 240. You could put like 20,000 into it. And then I run the comps, and the comps are like 240, 250, 260. So without that, I probably would have done some of those deals and, believe their comp. So I'm like, just that alone saved me a lot of money getting into a bad deal and headache, right?
Great. My next question is best book, blog, or podcast?
Oh, best book. The best book I actually was issued this book when I was at the Air Force Academy. I was at the preparatory school, and it was called How to Win Friends and Influence People. And so
Yep.
that was actually the first book that I ever read, a self-help book, right? And it was like,
That's a great book. Yes.
yeah, it just opened up the doors to everything because, it's just talking about people skills and like how to talk about people's interests and, how a person's name is the most beautiful sound in any language. Just like real good principles that I still use to this day. And I tell my high schools students about it, like, hey, read this book. This is one of the best business books you can read. And of course, the scriptures, they always provide a lot of good guidance and that spiritual feeling. Podcasts, I like Real Estate Disruptors. One of my friends, Steve Trang, he runs a group out here that he wholesales. He's a broker, he's a real estate agent. He used to be an engineer that worked for Intel and then got into real estate when the market crashed. And
back in 2008, 10.
Yeah. So he got in when the market crashed. But I mean, he's he owns a title company, real estate brokerage company, wholesale company. So and he interviews a lot of different people from all over the world that are all over the nation that wholesale. And so, yeah, it provides me with a lot of value. I go back and listen to different ones again.
Great. So first thing you do every day in the morning once you wake up?
Oh man, my kids, the sun comes up and I got a 5 and 3-year-old and then I got a 10-month-old baby, and the 5 and 3-year-old, they come in and they wake me up and they're like, they snuggle next to me, or, they just kind of see if I'm awake. And like, once my eyes open, they're like, Daddy, we're hungry. Make us breakfast, Daddy. And then they're just so excited that I'm awake. And I go make them breakfast. And, we watch some educational shows like Sesame Street or.
Nice. So name 3 most important things to you.
Most important things are my family. So, yeah, I waited a long time to have kids, and now it's just awesome. I mean, I put one of those above ground pools in our backyard during COVID. And so, I mean, we've been having fun. We go swimming every day, and they took swim lessons, and we watch movies, and
I think this is the best time, as the COVID thing made all the families come more closer.
Yeah.
Having very good time.
Definitely. I mean, I feel guilty.
Right side,
I'm having a blast, and I haven't really left the house too much. We're just, I'm working from home. I don't have to drive to Phoenix and back 2 hours because I live out in Mesa. It's great. I've been having a great time with my kids.
Sure. So what is success means to you?
So success, I guess you're always kind of hungry. You always kind of want more, So, I mean, just having a roof over our head and, enough food to eat and just, having my kids happy. I mean, that makes me feel good. That makes me feel like a success,
Great. Yeah.
It can be a lot. I mean, mortgage payments are a lot. I have 2, a rental property, so I have that mortgage and this mortgage, and we actually paid off all our debt. Well, a year ago, we flipped our primary residence, and so we paid off all our student loans, all our credit card debt, our car loans, everything. So, that freed up like $1,600 a month. So
that's great. So, best quote you could think of right now?
I always go back to the Air Force Academy because they made us memorize quotes like every week, and then they'd yell at us if, why don't you know this quote, Cadet Garcia? But like right the first day you go to this Bring Me Men ramp, right? and it says, you know, integrity first, service before self, excellence in all we do. And so that's like the Air Force Academy core values. And so they talk a lot about that, right? Integrity, having integrity, like service before self. So serving others, you know, before you think about yourself, and then just do it with excellence in everything, you
Great.
know, as best as your ability, you know, give it 110%.
Great. So what do you get inspired by every day?
I get inspired by just, you know, my kids, their smile, their laugh. You know, it pushes me to try to make a better life for them. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to study this real estate so, you know, I could provide a better life. You know, I want to leave them a house each, you know, and I'm not always going to be here on this earth. You know, my dad passed away when he's 57. Yeah. So I just want them to have good memories of me, and then, you know, teach them the real estate game, and, you know, have them be able to do it too. And it just pushes me to get outside my comfort zone, because sometimes it could be uncomfortable doing real estate deals or talking to people or trying to, like, you know, make offers, and it's uncomfortable, and sometimes it's hard to, like, call or text people or Facebook message them, right? But I think about my kids wanting a better life, and just, like, pushes me to do better.
That's great, man. You're a loving father, and family is always the primary thing, right? So
Yeah, well, it's just God's blessed me with, you know, great kids, and
that's nice. That's nice.
so
I have one last question.
yeah,
Life is, fill it up.
life is full of joy. I mean, we're only here for, you know, we're only here on earth for just a short amount of time. So just have joy. I mean, you know, just I mean, we live in America, right? And I've traveled around the world. I've been in 30 different countries, and, you know, I've seen, like we were telling my daughter today, you know, my wife's like, you know, you're very fortunate to have a roof over your head, you know, food to eat. And I remember I went to one country and I saw a grandma sleeping on the sidewalk with her two grandbabies, you know, and, you know, kids were, like, digging through the trash for dinner. And, you know, it's just, like, always those images, like, really, like, strike me in my head. Like, wow, we're blessed in this country to have, you know, so much.
So true. So true, Scott. Thank you so much, Scott. Really appreciate your time. You
Yeah.
did really wonderful things. We learned a lot. Uh, Thanks again.
Yeah. Thank you.